Hi guys, my name is Joseph AGKRG and I'm gonna keep you company again. In our previous lecture, I introduced how to calculate the future value of an investment. In this lecture, we'll continue with this topic and do more examples on it so that you can master the process. Before we begin, I would like to remind you again that if you're using Excel or finance calculator, you need to make sure that you put the correct sign that will show the direction of the flow of the cash flow. So if cash flow is if money is leaving your pocket to invest, for example, if you're investing $12,000, that means $12,000 is leaving your pocket. So you put that amount using a negative value if you're using Excel or financial calculator. But at the end of the period, if 12,000 is coming into your pocket, in that case, you're gonna use plus 12,000, showing that the money is coming into your pocket. So in other words, cash flows that go out of your pocket, which we also call the outflows, are negative. But cash flows that come into your pocket, which we also call the inflows, are positive. Okay? Now, let us do an example. But before then, again, I want to show you one more thing. The difference between the simple versus the compound interest. In simple interest, interest is earned only on the principal. So we call it simple, we call it the simple interest. But when interest is earned on interest, we call it compound interest. So a better way of putting this is this. Compound interest will charge you on the previous interest earned in prior periods, which means that when interest is earned on the interest earned in prior periods, we call it a compound interest. Compound interest tend to be larger than simple interest. Unfortunately, most of the applications in finance are based on compound interest. But for legal documents, sometimes we use a simple interest. Let's look at an example. Look at this question here. Let me make sure that you are having all this. Yeah, got it. It says, find the future value of $12,000 invested now after 7 years if the annual interest is 6%. So what would be the interest? Yeah, sorry, the future value if the interest is a simple interest, right? And what would be the future value if the interest is a compound interest rate? So we do the same question using assuming that it is a simple interest rate, then assuming that it is a compound interest rate. We do the same thing. So for the future value calculations using the interest rate, we have the formula as future value equals the present value, which is the 12,000 times 1 plus interest times number of years. So now this this one is part of the formula. So I'm going to write this down so that we can put it in. Now we have, from this question, we have that our amount invested is 12,000. Since we're not using Excel, there's no point putting it negative here. So we have 12,000, and then the interest is 6%. So our I is 6%. And the number of years is 7 years. So N is 7 years. So plugging it into this equation, we have 12,000 times 1 plus 0.06 times 7. So let me write this down so we can see how we get it. 12,000 times 1 plus 0.06 times 7. So we use calculator, regular calculator. So I'm going to take you to the regular calculator so that we can compute this. So we have 12,000 times, times 1 plus, okay, 0.06 times 7 years, okay, close it. Give me 17,040. So 17,040 will be the write it down. $17,040. So you can see it from here. See, $17,040. So if this is simple interest, that's the answer. That's how much it would be. In other words, the future value of an $12,000 invested now in 7 years' time, the future value in 7 years' time, if it's a simple interest, would be $17,040. That means you're making a gain of, let's see, your gain. Let me type it here. So your gain from that investment will be 17,000, okay, $40 minus $12,000, okay. So your gain in this investment will be, so let's subtract this, $17,040 minus 12,000. So minus, excuse me, let me clear this. $17,040 minus 12,000 invested. Okay, 5,040 is the gain. Okay, so $5,040. $5,040 is gain. If you are using if it is invested using a simple interest. Now let us repeat the question, because it says, part B says, what will be the future value if the interest rate is compounded? Is a compound interest rate. So in that case, we're gonna be using it solve the same question using compound interest formula. So which will take us to this place. So calculating the for this one, I'm gonna use two methods. Show you two methods. One method is using Excel. The other second method is using the table of future values. So let's use Excel. For Excel, the formula is this. Remember, put equal sign, type future value, type the interest, number of years payment, and then present value, which is the present value here means the amount that you invested, which is 12,000, and type. So let me write them down, and then we can put them in a calculator. In Excel. So our interest is 6%, according to the equation, which is 6%. Okay. Then our number of years is 7 years. Payment, there's no payment made during that time. So the payment made at the end of the year. So you just type in 0 there at the end of 7 years. Amount invested is 12,000. So in that case, you're going to use negative to show that 12,000 left your pocket for investment. So negative $12,000, and type, which is type. This is a PV. Type will be no payment is made at the end of the period, so type will be 0. So let's go and put this in Excel and see the answer we'll get for this. So where is our Excel? Right here. So I'm going to make this bigger so you can see the screen very well. So interest is 6%, which is in decimal form is 0.06. This is for 7 years. You type 7. There's no payment made until the end of the period. Present value, which means how much you invested, to show the direction of the cash flow, make it negative 12,000, showing that money left your pocket. Type 0. So to calculate the future value, you type in this equation here that I gave you, a Excel formula, which is equals future value, and you click on all these things here to get your answer. Okay, so let's solve it. So you have equal future value. Okay, it is showing here. Okay, now for rates, see rates, this is this interest rate. Click 6%, comma, number of period, that's the number of years. See NPER, that means number of years. I say write it as NPER. Click on 7, comma, make sure you're seeing this. Yeah, you're seeing it. Okay. Payment, there's no payment. Click on it, comma, present value, which is $12,000 invested, comma. Then type, it says 0 for end of period. So okay, then once you press the enter key, it will give you the answer right away. 18,043. Write it down. $18,043.56. So which means that if you invested $12,000 at 6% interest for 7 years, what you have at the end of 7 years will be $43.53. I'm gonna show you where I put it in my answer sheet in our presentation for here, so that your gain here, your gain, I'll say that your gain will be, I'm gonna make this make it not to be too bold. Your gain now becomes 18,043.56 minus the $12,000 you invested. Okay, $12,000. So let us put this in the Excel. We can calculate it using Excel. Now, if we go to Excel, or if you like, you can use calculator to get it. Or since we're using Excel, let's just continue with Excel, so that your gain, let me type gain here, becomes, okay, now equal, so put equal, this is the answer you got here, minus the $12,000 you invested. Okay, 6,000, the gain is 6,000. Okay, let's put this $6,043.53. So let me write it down so that we can go there and put it in. $43.56. We can now go to our presentation and add it there. 6,000 43 cents, $58. So $6,043.58. So that's the gain. So now you can compare this gain with what you have when you're using simple interest. For simple interest, it was $5,040. For compound interest is $6,043.56. So you can see why most financial calculations or investments, use simple interest. I mean compound interest for things like credit card, auto loans, and the return on other investments. Usually the calculations, when they say interest, they're talking about compound interest. I'm sure you so now let us do something using a interest table, simple interest table, second method. In this case, I will repeat the same thing using the simple interest table. Yeah, the way we do it is, remember, it is the same problem. Here, the present value amount that invested was $12,000. Okay, as you can see from the original question, it was $12,000 invested. Yep, I think I see invested for 7 years. If the annual interest rate is 6%, let us do the compound interest part of it. We did it already using Excel. Let us repeat it using an interest table. Assuming that you find yourself in a place where there is no calculator or where there is no computer to use, you have only calculator and the future value interest table. So that means 12,000 is the amount, okay, and interest is 6%, which in decimal form is 0.06. Number of years is 7 years. Now you look for this value, future value interest factor, for under 0.06. Okay, 0.06 interest, comma, and 7 years. Okay, so that gives us, go to the table and look for this to get the interest factor. Let me take you to the table. I'm taking you to the table now. This is the where is it? Where is my table? Okay, I think it's somewhere else. Give me 1 minute. Let me pull it out. Okay, I think it's here. This is happening yesterday. That's the table right there. So I can share the table now. I hope you can see it. So now let's see. Now look at the table. We are looking at for interest of 6% for 7 years. So future value interest factor for 6% and 7 years. We'll go to 6% and 7 years. Look at the table. 6% is right here. That's the table present and future value tables. This particular one, table A1 is for future values. 6%, and this is number of periods, say 7 years. Just follow it like that. Go under 6%. This is 6% right here. 6%. 7 years. 1.5036. So 1.50, let me write it down. 1.5036. Okay. So we'll go and type it in. 1.5036. Let me make sure I copied it right. You have 6%, 7, 1.5036. Okay, good, I got it right. So in that case, we have everything we need. So the future value of this investment in 7 years' time will be the future value interest factor. That is the present value, okay, times, okay, times, okay, the future value interest factor, okay, future value interest factor, okay, for for 6%, okay, comma, 7 years. Let me correct this. Okay, 6% and 7 years. So which is 12,000. Okay, times times 1.5036, which will give me, let us go and multiply this. 12,000. So in the calculator, will give us this equals 12,000 times 1.5036. Give me $18,043.20. Okay, $18,043. Okay, and 20 cents. Now, you can see that it's the same answer we have here, except that maybe this one is 20 cents and this is 56 cents. This is just can be attributed to just rounding error. Otherwise, you have $18,043 and $18,043. The difference here is only 56 cents and 36 cents, which is really nothing because it is yes, minor, just a minor rounding error. So that's basically what it is. The question can be asked in different forms. You can use simple interest or compound interest. When you use the term simple interest, the return on investment will be lower because for the simple interest, interest is earned only on the principal. But the compound interest is earned on interest that is earned in previous period. So it grows faster than the simple interest. Now, this question might be asked in a different form. This kind of question asked in a different form. Let's look at another type of more on that kind of questions. It says, determine the future values if $9,000 is invested in each of the following situations: at 6% for 7 years, 9% for 5 years, and then 9% for 10 years. So let us do the first one. We are going to use Excel. It says 6% for 7 years. In that case, interest is 6%, which is in decimal form is 0.06. Number of periods is 7 years. Payment, there is no payment, so it's 0. Present value, which is the amount that is invested, which is $9,000. Okay. Now, last but not the least is the type. You get the reward on the invested capital at the end of the period. So type is 0. So we can go to our type, go and put this part A in our spreadsheet. Okay, using Excel. So it has let's say we use Excel for this. I'm gonna erase this here so we can put our question, our information. So interest is 6%, so 0.06. This time around is 7 years. There's no payment. The amount invested this time is $9,000. Now I want you to watch this here because I'm going to remove this one so that you don't have to use it. What this as since we have done the calculation already here, so the formula is already embedded here. So as I change the numbers, it will be changing. So I'm gonna copy this, put this here so that we can now, and also okay here. Okay. Now this is part A. Let's say this as part A. Okay. And for our part A of this question is for 6% and for 7 years. See? And the amount is 9,000. So doing it in Excel, we'll have this is for part B, but let's do part A first. So like I say, watch this. Because we have already done this already, the formula has now been embedded here. So we don't have to start calculating. As we put our numbers, it will recalculate it for us. So for 7 years, no payment, and amount this time is $9,000. So negative 9,000. You can see that it will calculate it answer is $13,532.67, which is here. You can see the answer right here. Okay. Now part B is for 9%. 9%. Let me write it down. Interest is 9% this time, which is 0.09 for interest, and time is for 5 years. Number of period is 5 years, and the payment, there's no payment, which is 0. And then what else? Present value, which is amount invested, 9,000, same amount. And then next is the type, again is 0 because at the end of the period. So we go back there and then just use this for part B. Part B. Okay. Now I'm gonna, it is in this form because this space is too short, so we're gonna expand it. As you can see, right, it's now better. Do the same thing for this one. So for part B, interest is 9%, so 0. Remember to look here where I'm doing it to calculate it. 0.09 for how many years? 5 years. So you can see it is recalculating it as I'm doing it, and the amount is 9,000. 9,000. See? So the higher the interest, the higher the return, even though the years is shorter. Now for part C, you can see from here what the answer we have for part B. This is the answer we have for part B, which is $13,847.62, which is what Excel gave us. Here you can see right here. Now for part C, part C says a mistake, says 9%. So interest is still 9%, 0.09, and number of years is for 10 years. Okay. And next is payment. No payment is made until the end of the year, so out of 10 years, so it's 0. And present value, the amount invested is 9,000, and the type is 0 since you get the money at the end of the period. So I will have put them in for C. So again, watch this as I'm putting it, it will be recalculating it. Interest is 9%, 0.09. Okay, this time number of years is 10 years, and the amount invested is $9,000. You can see the difference. So higher this one is 9%, this one 9%, same amount, but higher number of years, the more the amount you receive. This you can also see from our presentation. You can see that $21,306.27. So this is basically what it is, finding the return on investment, future value of an investment. In our next lecture, we'll be looking at future value and inflation, how to deal with inflation when doing calculations that involve future values. Because inflation is one of the bad things that affect investment. One of the dangers investors face, especially investors in stock market, things like bond, stocks. Sometimes inflation can eat away your profits. So that will be our next lecture, how to factor in the effect of inflation when calculating the future value for investment. Thank you for listening, and I will see you soon. Okay. Probably tomorrow or during the weekend. Good night.